to deviate a little bit, because some people have been looking at the broadcast by the president when he made the announcement for the state of emergency and his position about the assembly complex not being constructed. He made that comment after what happened. Can you give us an idea? You're a reporter on the field, and so you must have. What is the situation with the Halo chambers with regards to construction work?
I know construction has been going on. In fact, when the president read that, and what come they call and tell the picture to you, to the media team in the villa, how come you're giving us this wrong information? Since the contract was awarded and construction has been going on all this while. I can't ascertain, but I know it's over 50% construction has gone on. So we're all surprised when the president mentioned that. So it goes to tell you something actually went wrong. Again, the commissioner, the Minister for Justice, I think, repeated that the day after.
Because we know that what we've heard was that the construction work at the assembly was close to about 60-70% done. That was the report we got. And that's the reason I had to ask you, because I'm sure you must have visited the site.
And this is a better edifice, Andrew. I mean, you get to see all of the plan work. You'll be happy that we're having this kind of edifice for the state lawmakers, So I'm not sure you get that in any other states, The kind of edifice you see there, the structure, the plan, and everything going on. By the time they finish it, you see how beautiful that place will look. So I don't know why that formed part of the president's speech. I really can't tell.
All right, back to the government house as it stands. So, 24 hours now. The Riot Act that was read by the administrator. What's the feeling like in the government house, and for the other workers who had been there working with the governor and his team? What's the feeling? And do you have any idea, perhaps, where the governor is at the moment? Is he still in the government house?
No, of course not. The governor won't be here. Nobody knows where he is with his family, but of course not in the government house. He lived there when he was there. Of course, whoever is going to occupy that seat, there are residential places for you to stay. There's a brick house. There's the other house we call Foundation, where the chief executive stays. So the Governor Fubara is no longer at the government house. But the feeling among workers is. You have a new boss. You're neither here nor there. You don't know his personality, and then there's this thing about you seeing soldiers around you. Taking over everywhere, restricting where you used to.
Which
walk.
Is worrying for a lot of people, because
some people used to go before, and then somebody starts saying what's the problem? And the you just say you backward. You know how soldiers behave. They just pull you backward. You don't, no reason given to you.
You can ask questions or anything.
You can ask. Some of them are masking, so you just have to go backward. Probably you get a reason maybe hours later from the head of your unit or your department. You try to inquire and then they give you a reason. So that's how it is. I am not surprised that is happening. We expect that in a couple of months' time, maybe because we are not used to them. And then they are not used to those who work at the government house. That will relax a bit. We're expecting that to happen before 6 months. We expect that it should relax a bit because, that contact, that knowledge of each other would have come into play. And then.
So the establishment, if you have to have media personnel, media officers go to the government house, there's correspondents like yourself, does the procedure changed, or do you still have easy access as a media personnel?
Well, the procedure has changed. You can't every day access the government house right now. That's how it is right now. You have to be on. If you're on schedule, if you're not on schedule, you can't access the government house. Before, if you're not on schedule, you can access the government house. You can enter, get into the press office, and then whatever is happening inside the government house, you can, go. Get your report. The only problem you have if you're not on schedule is that when the governor has event outside, because of the limited space in the bus, you can't be part of it, of course. So, but whatever is happening within the government house, the banquet hall, wherever, you can of course go. But in this case, that has changed. If you're not on schedule, you have to stay wherever you are. You can't come into the government house.
And how is the work been for media personnel within the government house since this change? Is it been easy? Has it been very flexible for you to, speak to whoever you have to speak with, to ask relevant questions, and are you allowed to do all of that?
No, so far, he came in yesterday. So, but from since yesterday up until throughout yesterday, it wasn't as easy as it was when he arrived. Of course, a lot of we tried to take pictures, and he walked into the council chamber with the HOS, the head of service, came out and addressed the press. A lot of pushing, shoving. Of course, the soldiers don't understand when as far as they're concerned, it's the last command. You don't get close. This is a retired admiral. That's the highest rank, I think, if I'm correct.
Vice Admiral.
Vice Admiral, okay, in Nigerian Navy. So he's the boss and a former chief. Don't forget also he was a diplomat.
Yeah.
So Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana. So so that is playing out. We really cannot for now, but I think it's too early to really come to conclusion.
So one who were in his entourage, who did he come with? Because there's two reports that there are some familiar faces that came with him that are known to Rivers people, and then second, there are reports, I'd like you to confirm, that the picture of the governor had been removed from the government house. Please, have you seen, did you observe any of these things?
Okay, when he came, the service commanders were there. The CP was there. The CP had been visiting the commissioner of police. He's been visiting the government house all to take inventory and all of this. He was there. The service commander, Air Force, Navy, and Army, they were all there. Security personnel, a lot of people, and then the representative of the National Security Advisor, Ojukaye Flag Amakri, was there. HOS I mentioned was there. The permanent secretaries were all there, seated, with him. And then those are the people that were there when he came. And talking about the picture of the portrait of the governor is no longer there. But I don't know if that is unusual because we have a new sheriff in town. We expect that the sheriff's picture, the new administrator picture, should be hanging there at least for the next 6 months. I don't know if that is abnormal, but as media men, all of those things were all observed around the government house.
All right. We'll go for a short commercial, and then we come back. We'll go to the phone lines and get your thoughts. What you think about the press briefing. And so far, it's a day in office for the new sole administrator. And when you look at what has happened so far, the comments he has made, what do you feel? What do you think? What do you expect? I would also find out from our correspondent here, from what you have seen and heard so far, do you expect that this might be over in less than expected? 6 months is stipulated time, and there's also the possibility of an extension depending. But that would get your response to, and what he thinks upon his arrival was he of the opinion that Port Harcourt was really as in quote, chaotic as painted after the break.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned.
Nigeria Info, good morning. Our conversation continues here on the Morning Crossfire. My name is Ifeemi Andrew, and I have in the studio with me our news reporter and government house correspondent, Nwosu. And we've been talking about the changes in the government house since the sole administrator assumed office and resumed duties yesterday. Also, we've had Rivers people giving their thoughts about what they think, and which we would also allow you to do today, following the Riot Act that he read and some of the comments he had made so far. What are your views? What do you think? Do you feel hope? Are you hopeful that the posture of the man suggests that we might resolve this and we might not even stay in this emergency situation for beyond a month? Well, we'll come to that and find your thoughts. But first, let me remind us to get on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's the handle. We're streaming live, so you can be a part of the conversation. You can also send us WhatsApp messages 0809-030-6416. I'd asked a few questions before the break, one of which was where the governor was, and he says, well, he doesn't know where the governor is, but the governor is very certain he's not in the government house. He also had said that the picture of the governor from his observation while at the house had been removed. The procedure to accessing the government house is drastically changed, even for people who work there. Among many other things that he had said is now different with regards to the operations in the government house. If you want to know more, get on Facebook and go watch the conversation from the beginning, and you hear some of the things that my guest had highlighted. Before we open the phone lines, a few more questions I would like to ask. I was going to ask about the deputy governor, but then I got a report that she had been out of the country about a month ago for health reasons, and she had to go for medical attention, but she's in the know what is happening. But what about the lawmakers and Speaker of the Assembly? Have you heard what do you know about the situation? Perhaps because you must say, honestly, we haven't really gotten any statements from most of them. Suddenly everybody's quiet, and for me, that's shocking, including many supporters of the lawmakers, the FCT minister, and even most supporters of the governor. But Rivers people have been vocal. But beyond Rivers people, the supporters, loyal supporters who have been very vocal when we had all the back and forth courts, and we've not really heard them say too much in recent times. So do you have any information around those?
About the lawmakers? Not
Yes.
at all. Not at all. We've not had, apart from the statement that was signed by the Speaker himself, Martin Amiwuli. I think that statement was signed on behalf of, he signed that statement on behalf of his colleagues as the Speaker of the House. So, and of course, reading between the lines in that statement, you know that they are open, with their open arms, welcome the new administrator. So they promise to work with their new administrator. So, I mean, you expect them to just be waiting for any call. Work has commenced. I must tell you, the administrator will be receiving guests today. So work has started.
Please confirm for us. So has a location been released? Do you have any information that could suggest that monies have been released?
Not at all. I wouldn't know about that, but maybe that may happen in a couple of. Today is Friday. Maybe that'll probably come in anytime soon, but I'm not sure. I do not know anything about the allocation.
I'm sure on the minds of Rivers people, the questions would be, okay, the Supreme Court had put out a judgment, and we're supposed to have local government elections. We're supposed to also have allocations released for salary to be paid and so on and so forth after the budget has been presented. Now we don't have an assembly. The governor is suspended alongside the lawmakers. So who pays the workers? Or are they not going to work for this period? They are going to be at home. If they are going to work, who is going to pay them? Or are they going to pay them from the IGR of the state? What is there any questions around these things being asked?
Yeah, of course. If you listen to the administrator yesterday, his broadcast yesterday, he did mention that in a couple of days with speed, machineries of government will start working. By that, I assume that he means that secretariat work should be going on. Of course, workers should expect their salaries, because the Minister for Justice had said that, look, they are going to release Rivers allocation to the administrator. Oh,
that was what the Minister for Justice said.
Yes, the minister mentioned that allocation will be released to.
Okay.
But a lot of people have asked questions.
Hold on. Minister of Justice said the allocation will be released, that means the CBN will release the allocation.
That's what it means.
What about the Supreme Court judgment?
Well,
what happens? Because that judgment is supposed to ensure that those monies aren't released until a budget is presented to the Assembly.
I wouldn't know why that the minister said that, but I assume that judgment was meant for the democratically elected governor and his team, and then the lawmakers, because questions are being asked by Rivers people. Why is the money released to the administrator? So it's there for the government to come through more light and explain.
Does that also mean that if by any chance, by slingshot, this stays up to 6 months, the administrator would have to be in charge of conducting the local government elections?
That again is a question that the administrator, the government may have to answer. We do not know whether he will conduct election or whether people will be appointed. Of course, the constitution forbids that to happen, but again, this is an administrator. This is not a normal situation. They may want to rely on that to say, okay, let's have the local government running. Let's have appointed people run the local government rather than the head of administration that are in charge right now. So, but in a couple of weeks, before the end of next week, I'm sure all of these things will pan out and then we'll have something to talk about.
All right, enough questions from me. Let's go to you. I'm pretty sure you have a few more to ask, but most importantly, let's get your thoughts and views to what is happening with regards to it at the moment. Let's get your thoughts. You've heard him speak, you've heard his position, and he has said he's here to ensure that peace ensues, and ensure that warring factions and all that's needed to be settled is settled. For many, they have questioned that, well, I'm sure he can see that there's nobody fighting or shooting or killing in Rivers State, and he would know that then some things need to change. Well, that, like my guest said, that will be up to the administrator to look at and make conclusions, because he would be reporting to the president and the FEC. I think that was in the president's broadcast, was what the president said. So let's wait and see. He's not allowed to make laws. The president also said that as well. So let's see how that goes. Let's go to the phone lines now. 0817 923 0007, 0817 923 0007, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0003. You can also call 0817 923 0002. Any of these numbers would give you access to us here in the studio. Remember, importantly, to also get on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH and join in on the conversation. All right, Iyobo Kelvin says, please, would you want to ask this critical question to your guest? So Tori Vasipo is non-partisan. How possible would that be, especially as the political issues tend to be hijacked by one divide? Okay, this is a valid question, because there are concerns people have also asked on the show several times and even asked me online, especially when they saw pictures of the administrator early in 2015 with then Governor Nyesom Wike, now FCT Minister. And some people also not comfortable when you mentioned the Jukai Flag Amakri as the
NSC rep.
NSC rep. And people are his relationship with the FCT Minister. And people are beginning to raise questions about all of this. Are these some of the questions that have been asked of the administrator, and what was his response if the questions have been asked? If not, are they going to be asked?
If at all the question has been asked, he has answered that in the broadcast. He said he's not going to be partisan. And I think, honestly, when he was making the broadcast, listening to him, listening to the speech and everything, for me, I give it to him. He passed out for me like a gentleman, someone who has come to do what he's been asked to do. I don't want to read meaning into anything from what he has said so far. So I'm taking him by his words, so whatever happens, then we can pick it up from there. But he has said, I'm not going to be partisan. I've had people say he read the riot act. I do not agree with that phrase, that term. I do not think he read riot act. He just came to tell Rivers, look, I'm here for you. Whatever you may have had, yes, but let's work together. That's what he came to do. Yes, he may have used one term, strong term, but he didn't say it like what the military generals when they take over, hereby dissolve, all of those kind of statements. But he was calm, he was calculated, the speech was once, he read it once, and there was no need to go back to
All right.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So it was clear, it was unambiguous, it was straight to the point.
This person says, what about monitoring of ongoing projects across the local government areas and prompt payment of civil servants in the state? The administrator is a retired naval personnel, more or less a civilian stroke military. Is it proper for non-indigene to man the affairs of another state? Well, that's also a question some people have asked. The fact that he's not from Rivers State, but then is saddled with the responsibility of running the administrative activities of the state. You said he has come to deliver on an equal basis. Seeing his arrival with the Jukai flag and Makri, okay, I already cited that some people have raised concerns when they saw that. Chiwendu Onyegam says he's going to do well, mostly in restoring peace in the state. His core assignment, that's all. Everyone, I was once off. Okay, that's enough for us. Okay, let's go to the phone lines and see. We'll take a few calls because we have plenty of time. We have a commercial coming. So let's just get your thoughts quickly. Just tell us what you think about the comments and the broadcast of the administrator. That's what we want to get from you. Go on. Hello, go on, God's Power.
Yes, my name is Aniba God's Power. Andrew, I think the statement and the broadcast by the administrator is not ambiguous. I think it is in a plain language, and everybody understands that. Lawlessness will not be tolerated again in this state, and I believe that he has come to restore peace and stability. Then, Andrew, I just want to make a bit input on the statement made by your reporter there, that the House of Assembly that is being built by the Governor Sim, that is the best in the country and all that. I also want to tell him that the one that was demolished was the best in Nigeria and arguably the best in Africa.
All right, God's Power, noted. But let me also draw our mind that before the demolition, there had been reports by the lawmakers occupying that house that they were leaking roofs when it rained. There were issues with the sound, the speakers,
structure was bad.
That's what and we saw that report and we got it. So just to clarify that as well. Chima in Rumokuta, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Semi.
Yes.
Yeah, I listened to the discussion in the varsity, and I see very straight. I have always exclaimed here that he has not come for democratical reasons, but right now to come and put into place, let there be peace in River State, especially to the bombing of a pipeline. And I also want to advise him that even from the statement of the suspended governor, that he should call the governor, the Israeli governor, because he indicted himself and said, because of the speech that used to be made at Abalama, that the Joy people are angry. That's what led to the pipeline.
He did not say that was what led to the pipeline vandalization. He said Ijaw people were angry, and that was what he said. Chima, would end there. Don't add to what he did not say that they were angry and that was why they bombed. No, the governor did not say that. He never did. All right, so let's not add to what it is. Zion, we'll just take Zion and then we come to wrap up. Zion from GRA, good morning.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the sole administrator is here until court will decide otherwise. But I want to plead with him to consider our pensioners. Now that Rivers money is under his control, consider the pensioners, the Rivers workers, and the economy of Rivers State. Presently, he has a lot of PSA to do. Because you like it or not, investors that have the mindset to come into Rivers State may be thinking otherwise. They may be looking at his body language. They are not political people who are hungry. They are investors who are very intelligent. And they calculate you psychologically before they come to invest. So I want him to portray a body language that will attract investors.
All right, Zion, thank you. That's the much we can take in less than a minute. So what's happening? I'm pretty sure you would be at the government house today.
Yeah.
At least you're on schedule. We have to wrap up. We don't have time. We have a commercial coming. All right. Thank you very much, Nwosu,
Thank you so much,
for making out time with us on the show. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. All right. Everyone, go about your business. Be peaceful. You've heard the administrator. We'll continue to give you the reports as they come. Good morning. Hello, Port Harcourt will come next.
Are you having problems listening?